myself, Harsh Patel, team lead. With me.
Hello everyone, Devang Nathwani over here,
So,
HOD product team.
okay. So telephone is the nowadays considered a extension of ourselves. We almost cannot do anything without our smartphone. From the ordering the grocery to book the restaurant for the midnight dinner.
Yeah, correct. And from being alive in our social circle to let our professional network grow, telephone is almost an essential and irreplaceable part of our life nowadays.
Yes, obviously. With such a few many pros, there are some cons as well.
Oh,
And one of the prime them is the spoof calls.
you got the now.
Yeah.
I think we all will be agree on this, and we all have experienced the same many times because they are if not they are harmful, they are annoying in many ways. But in some way they are even harmful as well.
Yes, in manners of the people share some private information.
Yes, that many a times I have seen, I have heard that people are sharing and they are looting them in some way or another way. They are asking for some private information, social security numbers, and even they are talked into purchasing some unnecessary products and sharing some untrue details.
Yes, and the most alarming thing with this the frequency of such a call is almost 3 to 5 billion each month.
Oh, this is a big
Yes,
number.
is the big number, and this asks for the authority, which can look over and manage restricts such as spook.
Oh yes. So now if we're talking about and want to come to conclusion to something like this, then the authority or the one who is concluding that whether it is correct or not, before that one should know what is correct actually.
Yes, what if we translate the generic terms into the ending incoming call scenario?
Okay, so you are asking me to translate this generic into some the technical discussion which we are right now doing. Then probably I would say one should thoroughly know the legitimate calls so that one can come to conclusion whether those calls are actually legitimate or not.
Yes, so as explained by the FCC, Federal Communication Commission, call traveling through interconnect phone network would have their caller ID signed as a legitimate by originating carrier and validated by other carriers before reaching consumer or the customer.
So this will be cool. This authority might actually work, and the way which we are thinking it should.
Okay, so please keep sharing your concern. We will try to cover it while explaining that topic. So our webinar is the what is the tier second and ASTPP compliance. So in today's topic we will cover the below points. What is the tier second?
Okay. Why tier second is so important? Okay.
Yes. How tier second works
Signing and verification of incoming call.
and attest SIP header for the outgoing call.
Okay. Implementation in ASTPP.
Yes, and then last we check the what is the benefit and usage.
Okay.
Okay, so first is the what is the tier second? Tier second is a technology framework designed to reduce the fraudulent robocalls and illegal phone number spoofing.
Oh, the exactly what we were discussing about, because nowadays I am starting receiving at least 5 to 7 calls per week.
Yes.
So this technology or framework which is designed to do this probably will be at help.
Yes, so tiers means the secure telephony identity revisited, and second stand for the secure handling for asset information using the token.
Okay.
So combination of tier second is the method to the check the raw spoofing calls. So the FCC, Federal Communication Commission, had adopted the rules requiring service providing deploying tier second solution by June 30, 2021.
Oh, so it's already started, isn't it?
Yes, it already started, but like for the mid-level providers, they allow to the mid-June 2023.
Okay, so 2000 till this is already okay to lift it till 2023.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so why is tier second is so important.
Okay.
Okay, so as I mentioned, between 3 to 5 billion robocall made each month, and this is a huge number.
Yes.
And research suggests that more than 40% of those calls are through the fraud related.
Yes. Yes. So this must be banned or restricted in some way or another, so that the end user can avoid such call.
Yes. So tier second is an industry-wide initiative to restore trust in our voice communication.
Correct. Because if this would be a traditional telephony,
Yes.
then there might be some authority or some easy application which can help us avoiding such thing. But because this is web telephony, then there might be some, because that's why we have this much time. We have not applied, or we just applied it in last year.
Yes. So its goal to prevent the fraud from the scamming consumer and business through robocall and illegal phone number spoofing, while making sure that legitimate calls reach to the receptionist.
Because sometimes even some calls are reaching to us, we also thought that no, like it might be a spoof call, let's not
But this
answer it.
actual the correct call.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so here how tier second is works. So tier second works basically using the established public key infrastructure, means PKI technologies.
So isn't this something related to kind of SSL?
Yes, something like that, SSL certificate.
Mhm.
So it's applied to the telephone network to sign and verify the caller ID of the telephone calls.
Okay.
Okay, so once tier second is implemented, voice service provider will be able to provide more accurate caller ID information, giving consumer and between idea of which call to answer.
Okay, so there will be some intermediate platform who or which can decide whether this call is authenticate or legitimate
Yes,
with
correct.
the caller who is making such call, so that destination entity will know that whether this is correct or not.
Yes. So
Okay.
as explained by the FCC, call traveling through the interconnect phone networks would have their caller ID signed as a legitimate by originating carrier and validated by other carriers before reaching to the consumers.
So this reminding me of
Yes.
some another scenario like DNS.
Yes.
Where there are multiple hopes or multiple entities who has the data to authenticate such thing. So this might relate it to that as well.
Yes. So basically, tier second provided digital validation for call passing through the web of networks. This led the consumer's phone company verify the calls is actually coming from the number shown as actual caller ID.
So that's again related to DNS or somehow it is connected with that as well. The terminology or the network, the web of network which we are talking about is kind of related.
So the originating telephone service provider checks the call source and calling number to determine how to attest for validity for the calling number.
Okay, so from these explanation, I am come to conclusion, or if I'm trying to know what it is, then there will be some flag or attestation
Yes.
will be there to providers, so that they'll judge that whether this calling party is allowed to use or authenticate to use this calling number.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So it divided into the three parts: full attestation, partial attestation, and gateway attestation. We go one by one. In full attestation, the service provider has authenticated the calling party and they are authorized to use the calling number.
Okay, so this means authenticated the calling party. So in a manner that provider will know the calling party,
Yes.
as well as they know the calling number is binding or bound with this calling
Customer,
party.
yes.
Okay.
Example of this case is subscribe register with the originating telephone service provider soft switch.
Okay. Because the subscriber is already known to the provider.
Yes.
It's already registered to the provider, so provider already known the calling party or subscriber is already known to the provider.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the full attestation. That time we add the flag as a because it's a full attestation. Second one is a partial attestation. In this type of attestation, service provider has authenticated the call originator, but cannot verify call source is authorized to use the calling number or not.
So what would be the example for this?
Is
Possibly?
example like behind some third party means enterprise PBX.
Okay, so that means the provider knows the source actually. The
Yes.
calling party is known by the provider, but provider is not sure whether the calling number which has call is coming from is bound with the calling party or not. Means
Yes.
calling party is authorized to use that calling number.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so the full attestation means all two catches are
Yes.
fulfilled. One, the calling party is known and caller ID or calling number is bound with that calling party.
Yes.
And because that both the catches are fulfilled, that's why it's called full attestation.
Yes.
And partial because out of this two, one is fulfilled,
Yes, sir.
which is the calling party
Party,
is known to the provider. But the second catch, which is
Call source.
yes, which call source is known,
Yes.
but the calling number,
Call.
whether it is bound with the calling party or not,
Yes.
that's provider is not sure of.
Yes,
That's
correct.
why it's called
That's
partial.
partial
Okay,
attestation.
okay, got it.
Okay, then the last one is the gateway attestation. The service provider has authenticated from the where is received the call, but cannot authenticate the call source.
This is, can you please rephrase or give an example for
I
this?
guess the example of this the call received from the international gateway.
Okay.
When on our switch call come from the another provider to international gateway.
Okay, so our switch is known to the sender,
Yes. Non
but not known to the actual calling party.
Yes.
Okay.
They cannot identify what is the call source.
Okay, so call source is not known, so we don't need to think about whether the calling number is this or that,
Yes,
because
correct.
the call source is itself not
Not-
authenticated
Yes, correct.
or known.
Yes, so we divide into three flags A, B, or C.
Okay, so this gateway attestations we can call kind of no attestation.
No attestation, yes.
Okay.
Correct. Okay, so signing and verification for incoming call.
Okay.
First tier second attest call, provider invokes the STIVS means secure telephony identity verification service function to verify the inbound call. This is a complex algorithm behind that.
Okay, so what this means is when incoming call reach to any platform,
Yes.
that switch will call something central,
Third party,
some
yes.
central place where they ask that whether this calling party and caller number are bound or not,
Yes.
and based on the response, okay.
Yes. So
That's
provider
how-
passes the tier second verification result in SIP invite for incoming calls, such like a TN validation passed.
Okay, so there might be some other flags as well.
Yes,
which
there
will,
are the three flags we can check in next slide.
okay, so this flag is for pass.
Pass,
which-
yes, means
full
this is
attested.
full attest. Yes, it's flag A.
Okay, it's flag A. So
Yes.
for that, let's say if incoming call come to switch asks to some third
Third
party,
party, yes.
and then third party will provide that yes, this calling number and call party are authenticated. Please consider it as verified.
Yes, so it's written the vested flag.
TN
Validation passed.
Validation passed. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
For other flag, we will check in next slide.
Okay.
Okay. And attach three header for outgoing call. Last we checked the inbound call, so now for the outgoing call.
Okay.
In outgoing call, there are three levels as we discussed for the call attestation. First is the full attestation, partial attestation, and gateway attestation.
Okay.
So
What if I may recall the
Yes.
thing is full attestation is when switch or provider is known to the calling party, means source of the call, and it also knows that the calling number which are used are also bound with the calling party.
yes,
That is full attestation.
correct.
Then partial attestation might be is that the switch is known to the calling party, but not sure about the calling number which we are receiving the call from is bound with that calling party or not.
Yes, correct.
That is called partial.
Partial.
Because yes, now it making sense that out of two, one is cleared, so it's partial. Now the third, can you please help me with
Gateway
it?
attestation. It
Uh-huh.
means I give you an example like a international gateway.
Uh-huh.
Whenever calls come from to the international gateway, Then call our switch doesn't know the call source.
Yeah, but switch knows that
The
where
where
it
call
is
from
sender
yes,
sender is known,
yes.
but exact call source
So
is
it's
not known.
So
That
we
is
just
get
simply
messed.
set the C flag.
Okay.
Okay. So based on attestation flag, we set the new C header. If flag is A, then we set verification flag is the verified.
Okay.
If attestation flag B or C, then verification flag is the non-verified. Else verification flag is not applicable.
Okay. So the switch.
Yes.
So I'm not sure about. I got part about verified and not verified. What about not applicable?
Not applicable means if tier second is not enabled or some other possibilities.
Okay. So hybrid scenario is also.
Yes,
or
correct.
It's also can handle.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we will
Some
check in.
provider is supporting tier second
Mhm.
and complied with tier second, and in some they are not. Then also it going.
Yeah,
it's going to
so
work.
we will check in our implementation in ASTP flow, so you can get better idea about it.
Okay. So you are ASTPP is going to add this SIP header
Yes.
into invite when it's routed to gateway side.
Yes, correct. We add new header parameters. ASTP is tier verification. So gateway or provider is easily know the call is the
Whether it is full attested,
Full
fully
attested,
attested,
yes,
partially
full,
attested.
gateway attested, yes.
That is cool. That will help the destination end to know what actually and if they want to avoid or bypass this exercise, then also they can do it.
yes, correct. Yes. So here is the main flow implementation in the ASTPP.
This is you might be from starting. You might be eager
Yes,
to
correct.
see this slide because you my friend are the lead developer. So yes, you would like to please carry on. I won't
Yes.
stop you anymore.
In ASTPP, we give the flexible options to enable or disable the tier second. We also give the options to only enable tier second for outbound calls or only particular the inbound calls.
This
So
is cool. So
totally
this is cool.
flexible.
Okay, so this is flexible. Whether globally you want to enable or disable, admin have the complete
correct.
access to do that, and even for which flow you want it to be applied, whether it is for only inbound or only outbound.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and we also give two options to apply tier second only for particular prefix.
Okay.
So-
So this is one more.
Yes, so
step.
if you just want to enable in US country, so you just need to add US country prefix. So it's just only applicable for the US call only.
Okay, so there are three layers kind of. First, globally enable disable, then call flow wise enable
Yes.
disable, then prefix
Prefix
wise.
based, yes, correct.
Okay, this is
So
flexible.
yes, so outbound flow in ASTPP, if tier second enable means tier second outbound flow is enabled in ASTPP, so it's applicable on outbound calls. So it's apply if destination number prefix match which we define in our settings menu,
Okay.
and based on that we can add the attached value A, B or C.
Okay. So how it works actually in ASTPP terms?
Yes. In ASTP terms, we can go one by one. Full attestation means A flag. So in ASTPP, if the call is originated from the customer, his caller ID is matching with any of DID which is assigned to that particular customer.
Okay, so that I'm getting it because ASTPP has that customer created on it.
Yes.
So ASTPP is already known the calling party.
Yes,
So
correct.
there is one catch is cleared, fulfilled, that providers should know or switch should know. In our case, ASTPP should know whether calling party is known or not. So in this case, because it's customer, created customer, so that means it's known
Yes,
by
correct.
default. And the DID, if the DID is matched with the account, then we can do it.
Yeah, and DID means particular DID which is assigned to particular customer which is made a call.
Okay, so if DID is assigned to this particular
Yes,
customer,
correct.
and if that DID is matched with the calls,
Yes.
ongoing calls from number.
Yes.
Okay.
And main thing is destination number which match with the prefix.
Oh yes, the
This will
another
be- yes.
step inside. Okay, so if the destination number is matched with the prefix which is already created in settings menu.
Yes, yes. So this is the three layer to identify the attached full attestation.
Okay.
So second one is the partial attestation in ASTPP. If the call is originated from the customer, his caller ID is not matching with any of his assigned DID number.
Okay, okay. So the one difference between
Partial
full attestation and
partial
partial attestation is that the because this is also also a customer of ASTPP. The calling part is known to ASTPP,
Yes,
but because the DID is not found in the from number, which is also not assigned to, which is also assigned to this customer only.
Yes.
The DIDs which are assigned to this customer is not shown as a from number of the
Yes,
invite.
correct.
Okay, so that's why it's partial.
And third thing is the destination number match is prefix.
Yeah, that is that.
And the third one is the gateway attestation. In ASTP, as you all know, provider is also make the calls via our ASTPP switch.
Yes.
So whenever call come from any provider, that time we set the flag C because call come from the another provider.
So that means when provider sends the call to ASTPP, ASTPP knows the sender, who is the sender.
Yes, but it doesn't know about the call
source actually.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. So
Okay.
that's why we set the attestation
So
C.
as per the gateway attestations definition, this is falls under this attestation. Okay.
Yes. So based on that information, we set the channel variable as well and SIP header parameter as well. Here is the SIP header variable, SIP tier second attest. So
that is the channel variable SIP tier second attest. Okay.
yes,
And what will be the value?
A, B or C, whatever
Based
we
on-
get.
based on the
attestation
attestation.
flag.
Okay.
Yes, correct.
And
Second thing
SIP
is
header.
the SIP header.
Okay.
Based on attestation flag, we set the verified, non-verified or not applicable.
Not applicable for.
Not applicable means if you are not enable the tier second service or your prefix is not defined into the tier second list. So that time we send the third variable means not applicable. for
Okay,
flag.
this is cool. That's correct.
Yes. So third party means the gateways know the
Yes,
call is
based
passed.
on,
Yes.
based on this SIP header, the next hope or the next endpoint will be able to know that what kind of attestation with this invite.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So for the outbound. So before we go inbound call, Devan, can you please try to revise the outbound flow if
Okay,
you have?
you want me to? Okay. Let me try. Please help me if I
Yes, correct.
here and there something. First is full attestation. For outbound, full attestation. For full attestation, ASTPP should know the call source.
Yes.
In our case, in this ASTPP switch case, the customer is making the call. So
Correct.
the calling party or let's say source of the call is known to ASTPP.
Correct.
That's for sure. So the first case is clear. Now second case is the calling number need to be bound with the calling party. So in ASTPP's case, the DIDs which are assigned to which
DID assigned to particular customer.
DIDs which are assigned to that particular customer, if the from number is from one of the DID
Yes, correct.
assigned to this particular customer is there or not. If it's there, then it considered as full attested
Correct.
because the calling party as well as the calling number are matched. So it is fully
Correct.
attested. Okay, and the second is
Partial
partial
attestation,
attested. Okay,
yes.
so in that calling party is again the customer. So ASTPP is known to the calling party.
Correct.
But the calling number, because probably the from number which are there in invite may or is not matching with the assigned DID.
Correct.
Okay, the DID which are assigned to this particular customer is not there in from number.
Correct.
So that's why the second case is not fulfilled. So that's why it falls under partial attested.
Correct.
And the gateway attested. Please help me.
Yes, is the call route via the provider.
Oh yes.
because our switch is the source, but doesn't know the call source.
Okay, so ASTPP, because the provider is making call, ASTPP is knowing the sender party,
Sender party, yes.
but
correct.
not knowing exact
The
source, call source.
Yes.
So okay, so
So
we are
is-
not considering calling number at all because the first page is not fulfilling. So
Correct.
that's why we are not considering calling number. Call source is not itself is not known to ASTPP.
Yes, correct.
Okay,
Okay,
but I'm good, right?
Yes, you are good.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, please
so
carry on.
for inbound, sorry. If applicable on inbound call is enable and destination prefix is matched with the defined prefix, then enable below two line in our diagram. So
So for inbound as well, prefix is going to match.
yes, yes.
Okay.
For inbound prefix is matched. So
Okay.
for that we had two parameters. So first tier, second VS.
Okay.
So what actually this parameter is do? We also give two options to configure a private key and a certificate.
Okay.
So based on that two, they call the third party, and third party will return the result.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's written into the like a zip into the zip variable.
Okay.
So,
So when inbound reaches to ASTPP, then ASTPP is calling this third party using the key and
key and
certificate,
certificate, yes.
and try to get the result out of there in some zip header or zip parameters manner,
Yes,
and which is attested further down, is it?
yes, correct.
Okay.
So the zip parameters we get the three values: TN validation pass, not TN validation, or TN validation failed.
Oh, TN validation. These are the other
Three
two you
values, yes,
mentioned
yes.
because we have discussed about TN validation pass.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
Okay, okay. That is okay.
So-
Not got it, got it. So this third party will return based on checking on their side, and it will return that whether this invite is TN validation, pass the TN validation, or no TN validation, and the third one is TN validation.
It's a fail. It's not
So-
applicable.
Is it like A, B, C, C?
Yes, same thing like A, B, or C.
Okay, so TN validation passed will be A, right?
With fully attestation.
Okay, fully attestation. Then no TN validation
Is
will be
partial.
partial attestation.
Third one is
And
B
yeah.
or C. You can consider B or C. No.
Okay, okay. No TN validation is partial as well as gateway.
Gateway.
Okay, okay. And
And-
TN validation failed means
It's not applicable for particular reason or the prefix.
okay, got it.
And also we store all the tier second information in our CDRS table.
This
Mm,
is cherry on top, isn't it?
So yeah, so all the customer and the admin can directly go the customer CDR report and
Okay.
then just check the
What kind of validation was there in what particular
Yes.
call, or what number of calls are having which kind of attestation?
Yes. And there is a one more functionality. Here is the flag tier second VS hang up on fail, true or false.
Okay.
So we also set the new parameters in our settings menu.
So
like-
this is a screenshot of
Yes, this is
Settings-
screenshot of settings
global
menu.
settings available in admin panel
Yes,
of steer second.
tier second.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So here we also add the new one flag, enable or disable. So if call is come and system is the spoof call, but still he wants to send to the answer or establish the call.
Okay.
So for
okay.
that we set the enable or
So how
disable.
that previous parameter bind with this? How this steer second VS hang up on fail? works?
Yes. So if we set the enable means we can hang up the call. It is get the non-verified or not applicable flag
Okay.
from the provider side.
So true will make the call hang up
Yes.
as soon as we are receiving no TN validation or TN validation
Means a
failed.
spoof call, we can directly
Means
hang
it
up
is
the
a
call.
spoof call.
Yes.
Then what admin wants to do, whether he wants to let the call connected,
Or not.
considering this call as spoof call.
But still he wants to send.
Okay, okay.
So here we can also give the flexibility,
to add on, to admin,
And
he can
enable or disable that set.
Okay, okay. This is cool.
Okay, so here is the screenshot.
Okay.
So
What are this?
yes, I can go one more. Tier second enable disable. So you can enable or disable whole tier second process to this
Globally.
globally. Yes, you can say globally.
Okay.
private key and key URL which given by the provider. Then the outbound calls. If you want to enable or disable particular outbound calls for the steer second, so you can directly enable or disable it. Prefix, you can add multiple prefixes, as I mentioned, 19192.
These two prefixes are different. Outbound call prefix and inbound call.
Yes,
Okay, so
we
they
can
are
give multiple.
differently managed.
Yes, differently managed for the prefix.
Okay.
So it's the same thing like for the inbound call. If we can enable or disable inbound steer second process. And here is the
so separate
prefix of that.
inbound, outbound enable disable, global enable disable, then prefixes are for
Yes,
outbound different.
You can set outbound or inbound prefix.
And even the comma separate multiple.
Multiple, yes, you can add multiple.
So country code specific they can
Yes,
add.
correct.
Okay.
And this flag is for the enable or disable the spoof call. If admin wants to
Yes.
allow the spoof call, he can. If he want to disconnect, he can.
Just now we have discussed it. Just
Yes,
now
correct,
you said,
yes,
okay,
yes.
yes, that is correct.
Okay, so benefit and usage. So main benefit is the block spam call.
Yes, obviously.
Steer second can alert consumer that phone number is the fraudulent saving that time and protecting him that information or this information.
Yeah, because if it's up to in a way that it's up to customer that whether he wants, by knowing that this is spoof call, they have a liberty to whether accept it or not, and based on that they can save their time.
Yes.
So that is
The second point is the trust. Verifying your brand number through the steer second means that your customer can trust communication from your brand.
yes, obviously, because your brand will come to picture if your customer will know that your brand is doing this much of analysis,
Yes.
doing this much of care for their customers. So trust will build up.
Yes, and last one is the better information. Steer second so where phone calls originate, answer fewer phone calls from the spammers across the globe with steer second protection.
Yes, correct. So because the originate will be cleared whether it is bound with the polling number or not. So obviously the fewer calls will be there to reach to us end users and to annoy us less. So
Yes.
this is going to be the boon.
I think we have covered all the points. So
Correct.
let's start the question answer session if anyone have.
Let's see.
Yes. There is a Prabhat. Hi Prabhat. Oh, sorry for low sound. Why are we going to apply to specific prefix where the security might be good for all? Yes, we go options for the prefix because if admin wants to enable only particular like a US country only, so that's why we give the option to configure the prefix. Is it?
So for all, will there be any chance to have all the prefix?
Yes, we can add the star, then you can allow the all the prefix. Yes.
Okay.
And
Next one is something again from Prabhat.
yes. Will there be any effect on the call connection time for outbound or inbound call by the implement extra layer? No. As we tested from now, we are not facing any that kind of issue to delay or the something timing related issue.
There might be probably
Yes.
there might be, because this is again adding an extra security layer, so there might be some here and there, but it is giving you security, so it's more benefit than
Yeah.
having if you like to have more concurrent calls, then you can add some server specifications.
Yes.
It
So
against
it's
you are getting
purely depend on your bandwidth.
because you are getting too much security against a little bit of bandwidth or PDD.
Yes.
Anything? Any other questions? Hers? Are we getting in any other questions?
I am clear. You are?
I am, can say bit clear, and more clear than I was before. It's clearer, I can say surely.
We can wait for the 5 minutes if someone have any question
Okay.
or any suggestion.
Any suggestion? one of them, the Prabhat has raised
Yes,
this.
yes,
we
correct.
can-
Yes, this is
yeah,
the
we
good
can-
suggestion actually.
Yeah, correct. We can have the all prefix available so
Yes.
that admin don't want to keep adding multiple prefixes. You can just share your question in the live chat box. Harsh is there reading the questions. Nowadays, this is happening thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Because we are getting too many spoof call, too many communications are going on which should not be, which should be avoided, which should be banned, which should be restricted.
Yes, correct.
So this will be handy. This sure will be handy and will be useful. The congratulations to ASTPP team and all of us. So that we have come up with such solution and with an ease, with too many configurations to choose from. So it
Yes.
sure will balance the user experience as well as admins and end users headaches. So yeah. If you think you can answer afterwards as well, and we can conclude, we can. Shrikant is asking something implemented on OpenShift side or FreeSwitch side. For now, what do you say?
For now we have implemented in free suicide, but it's open. You can implement in OpenShift side as well.
With OpenShift as well.
Yes.
Very well. Let's conclude. We can, shall we?
Yes.
What do you say?
Yes, I think we can conclude this session. If
Very
no
well.
one have any other question,
They can reach out to us.
yes, in comment section.
Yeah, in comment section they can reach out to us or our contact page available inexrich and astpppling.org. Thanks for listening and Harsh, thanks for sharing such good
Thank you
information.
to join with us for this webinar.